welcome to lessonswithtroy.com. I'm Troy Brenningmeyer. Well, this is going to be volume 4 of my series Combining Rolls and Licks. And in this one, we're working over minor rolls and minor licks. So we're in a minor key. We're going to work out of the key of E minor. So the chords we'll be working with are going to be the E minor chord, and we'll do licks and rolls that fit over that E minor chord, an A minor chord, and also a B major chord, because a lot of times when you're playing in minor keys, your 5 chord of that key is still major. So it could be either a B chord or a B7 chord. Okay, well, I'm zoomed out here because I wanted to talk about a couple points here when playing in this key of E minor. Okay, the first point is my tuning here. I'm in GBD tuning. Okay, and what I've done is, because I'm in the key of E minor, I wouldn't normally do this maybe in a jam, but especially for this lesson where we're going to be doing lots of rolls and everything over E minor chords, is I've tuned my 2nd string and my 5th string in tune, right? So I've tuned it up to where it's just a in tune with the tuner B note. Okay. So normally when you're playing resonator guitar in GBD tuning, you'll tune your B strings flat just a little bit. As you can tell, if I play my 4th string and my 2nd string, it sounds pretty bad. Right, now if I was in the key of G and using lots of major chords for this, over that G, I would tune those down to where they would blend a little bit more. But for this particular lesson, and this is just something that I'm doing, I found that it was pretty hard to be playing, open E minor rolls with that B string flat. It just really didn't sound too good. So I went ahead and tuned it up to where it's going to blend with that E a lot better. Okay, so there's that. And the next concept I want to talk about is how to get kind of a minor chord out of your standard straight bar major chord, and where to get that. Okay, so in minor roll number 1, number 2, and number 3 in your tab, it's a roll that's based off of this idea. Okay, and I'm going to be using this idea quite a bit, so I wanted to talk about it. Okay, what you can do is, if you're wanting to get an E minor sound, you can take your normal E position, right? So normally E position is here on your 9th fret. Okay, and I'm going to move that up 3 frets, or I'm going to move it up to where it looks like a G chord. Right, now all those notes will give me what's called an E minor 7 chord. So it totally works if you're wanting an E minor sound. Once again, let me say this again. You take your E chord, which normally E, and I'm just playing a E power chord here in my 6th, 4th, and 3rd string. Okay, but if I move that up 3 frets, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to my 12th fret, and I could play all those notes if I wanted to, because that's GBD, and those notes over an E minor chord. G is the minor 3rd of your E minor chord, B is the 5th of your E minor chord, and D is what's called your minor 7th. So it gives it a pretty cool sound with that minor 7th there. Now what I do is I avoid playing this lowest string, the 6th string. So that's E minor roll number 1, which we're going to go over in detail in just a second here. But I just wanted to talk about this concept. Okay, so to get an E minor chord, move it all the way up to your 12th fret. And now that doesn't have a root in it. We're just assuming that the bass player is playing the root of the chord, right? Because we got the minor 3rd of the chord, the 5th of the chord, and the flat 7th or minor 7th of the chord. So all those sounds, those G licks, totally work over that E minor chord. Okay, now if we want an A minor chord, check this out. We go to our 2nd fret here, and once again move it up 3 frets. So 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. Okay, so it's like you're playing a C chord. Okay, and that'll give you a sound of an A minor chord without having to do any fancy slants or anything. But once again, you're not playing the root of that chord. You're playing C, E, and G, which C is the minor 3rd of my A minor chord, E is my 5th, and G is my minor 7th. Okay, now what I've done then is just do a normal B major chord. So you can move from A minor on your 5th fret here to B just on your 4th fret, because that's a normal B chord. Remember, the 5 chord in minor keys a lot of times is still a major chord. Okay, so once again, let me review over that. Get an E minor, take your 9th fret, E position, and move it up to this 12th fret. Gives you a nice E minor 7. If you want an A minor chord, take your 2nd fret, move it all the way up to your 5th fret in the C position, and it gives you the notes for an A minor 7 chord. Okay, so let's go ahead and learn this minor roll number 1, 2, and 3 now.